But to bring you up to date with a story that is the lead story in many US publications today, it's about the relationship right now between the US and Venezuela. The White House defending their Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth, against allegations that in September he instructed the US military to kill everyone on board a suspected Venezuelan drug smuggling vessel. Now, Hegseth reportedly ordered a second airstrike against survivors clinging to wreckage. Some US politicians and former officers say that would constitute a war crime, but the White House insists the strikes were legal.
With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated.
Democratic Senator Tim Kaine says his party is questioning the administration's decisions on Venezuela and says Republicans, too, are joining the call.
We think the escalating pace and some of the recent revelations, so for example, the recent revelation about the kill everyone order apparently dictated by Secretary Hegseth, we do believe that we will get more support for these motions when they are refiled.
The Trump administration maintains that Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro, is a narco-terrorist and has deployed a fleet to the Caribbean.
Victory forever, victory forever, victory forever.
Here he is at a rally, Maduro defiantly dismissing increasing pressure from the US. He addressed the crowd and said he will remain steadfast and swears absolute loyalty to Venezuelans.
Queremos paz.
We want peace, but peace with sovereignty, peace with equality, peace with freedom. We do not want a slaves' peace, nor a peace with colonies. Colony, never. Slaves, never. Freedom, republic, peace with dignity. That's the peace.
With me now in the studio is Mimi Swaby, our global affairs reporter with expertise and experience in Latin America, and speaking to me as well from Washington as part of our regular US politics series is Andrew Feinberg, White House correspondent for The Independent. Well, Mimi, there were rumours around that Mr. Maduro had fled. I mean, it was all over social media, but there he is, defiant, dancing, saying, "We do not want peace of slaves, nor do we want peace of colonies." He's been emboldened by all of this, it seems.
He has. This has created the perfect storm for speculation. There are reports that a plane associated with him was on its way to Brazil, but then he made an appearance at a very heavily attended rally in Caracas, where his supporters were really cheering him on. And he's trying to galvanize Venezuelans. It's a time of uncertainty. They have about 15,000 troops and a large military capability just outside their waters. And if you're Maduro, you think they're aiming at you. So he's trying to really get people to come together and see this as an opportunity to cement himself in power. And that's what we're seeing. He's holding on, hunkering down, and hoping that Trump doesn't escalate things further, be that with more strikes at sea or even land strikes, as we've hearing again more speculation on social media, as well as from sources in the White House.
Andrew, two things to pick up with you there. Possible plans that Trump might have now, but also this increased scrutiny that there is of Pete Hegseth, with some lawmakers accusing him of committing a war crime. What's the focus in the US today?
Well, there are still a lot of questions about this strike that happened on a small boat in September, which the administration has claimed was running drugs. They've offered no evidence of that. They've offered no basis for the strike other than the president's assertion that the U.S. is in what he has called an armed conflict with drug cartels. Now, the White House appears to be throwing a decorated Navy admiral who commanded these troops during the strike under the bus, saying that it was the admiral who gave this order that may have been a war crime to fire on the survivors of the first drone strike on that alleged drug boat. The White House is not budging. Although I will note that they originally denied that there had been a second strike, calling it made up and fake news. But yesterday, the White House confirmed that it had happened, but did not go so far as to say that Pete Hegseth had ordered it.
OK, we'll come back to what President Trump might do now, given it seems many are saying he's being boxed into a corner. Because I wanted to ask you, Mimi, about the public in Venezuela. Really hard to know, of course, but we see Maduro there with quite a large crowd. Is this sort of working for him in that way? Is he managing to galvanise support? Where do people stand?
It appears that if you supported Maduro before this has only cemented your support, and it's kind of separated the us and them narrative. Venezuelans are sticking together and Maduro is for Venezuela and Venezuelan people. However, if you were against Maduro, if you were a supporter of the opposition party led by Maria Corina Machado, this US potential military intervention is seen as actually a positive. And that really has swayed recently. Public opinion seems to be shifting that if you don't like Maduro, you see the US intervention as the only way to potentially get him to step down from power. Now, there are some different takes in the opposition party. Maria Machado has basically said that she fully backs Trump's actions, that these deadly attacks at sea, we know they've killed more than 80 people now, are justified for the end goal here. And that's been no secret that the US want Maduro to step down from power. However, other opposition leaders are a little bit more cautious. And that is what we're seeing. They're saying Maduro is running out of options if he stays, if he goes. It doesn't seem that he'll face any guarantee that he won't end up in jail or extradited or see betrayal from the military, who are his greatest asset, it seems, at the moment, protecting him. And if they turn, then Maduro is really exposed. But there is a shifting opinion. People who are against him see the US now as their best option for a new kind of liberated Venezuela rid of Maduro.
Andrew, I see that according to opinion polls, most Americans are against any kind of military intervention in Venezuela. But what is the strategic dilemma for President Trump now? I mean, is he really boxing himself in, given Maduro has refused to go?
Well, the president, during both of his successful campaigns in 2016 and again last year in 2024, ran on this idea that he was not going to get the U.S. into more foreign wars. And that has created a conflict now with some of his most fervent supporters who are looking at this huge military buildup in Venezuela, of all places, not exactly a strategic hotspot, and saying, what's going on here? How is this, in the words of their movement, America first? But the president is in a bit of a pickle here because he has ramped up the pressure on Maduro with these boat strikes, which may or may not be legal. And he's threatening more action, including the use of ground troops, which is probably not legal because Congress has not approved it, but that doesn't seem like it's going to stop him if that's what he wants to do. But he's doing this in part because he has a very hawkish group of advisors in his ear, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is, of course, a former senator from Florida, where there are a lot of Venezuelan expats, exiles, who would very much like to see Maduro removed. Rubio, of course, thought to be a 2028 presidential hopeful, and getting Maduro out of power would be a nice feather in his cap if he wants to run for the job currently held by Mr. Trump in 3 years.